Hello, Lilly Wachowski here. I'm glad that people are talking about the movies, the Matrix movies, with a trans narrative. I love that how meaningful those films are to trans people, and the way that they come up to me and say, these movies saved my life. Because when you talk about transformation, specifically in the world of science fiction, which is just about imagination, it's like, and world building, and like the idea of the seemingly impossible becoming possible, I think is like, that's why it speaks to them so much. And I'm grateful that I can be a part, throwing them a rope to help them along their journey. I'm glad that it has gotten out that, that was the original intention, but the world wasn't quite ready at a corporate level. The corporate world wasn't ready for it. So when you make movies and it's this public art form, I think any kind of art that you put out into the universe, there's a letting go process, because it's entering into like public dialogue. I like that there's like an evolution process that we as human beings engage in art in a non-linear way, that we can always like talk about something in new ways and in new light. We had, the Matrix stuff was all like about the desire for transformation, but it was all coming from a closeted point of view. And so we had the character of Switch, who was like a character who would be, a man in the real world, and then a woman in the Matrix. And, that's both where, where our headspaces were. I don't know how present my transness was in the background of my brain as we were writing it, but it all came from the same sort of fire that I'm talking about. And because trans people exist in this, especially for me and Lana, we were existing in this space where the words didn't exist, so we were always living in a world of imagination. It's why I gravitated towards science fiction and fantasy and, played Dungeons and Dragons. It was all about creating worlds. And so I think it freed us up as filmmakers, because we were able to imagine stuff at that time that you didn't necessarily see on screen. Or even the idea of like, how can we exist in as many genres as possible? One of our things that we really enjoyed doing was like sort of genre bending, where you would have stuff that felt like kung fu movies and like anime and westerns. And then we always like loved this scene that Ned Beatty would do in this movie Network, where he would talk about the way the world was, and it was always from this like corporate hierarchical, overlord structure. And so I think in our transness, we are always trying to and queerness, incorporate as many things as possible. It's just like trying to visualize within, a much larger, infinite scope of the imagination.